welcome back to my channel. So last week I created some IKEA hack fall decor projects, and for this week I have 4 fall decor DIYs using items from the dollar store. All of these projects were super easy and quick to create, and I cannot wait to share them with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the video and give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more DIY and home decor projects. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. In the first project, I created a minimal and neutral wreath using a green foam ring from the dollar store. I mean, let's be honest, we cannot go into a new season without a DIY wreath, right? I finally used the roll of natural jute rope that I've had in my craft stash forever in this DIY. You can find a variety of different twine and natural rope at the dollar store as well if you don't have any on hand. I removed the packaging of the jute rope and aligned one end of it on the foam ring. I used a dab of hot glue to attach this end of the rope to the ring in order to create the starting point. From here on, the process is pretty repetitive. I wrapped the jute rope around the foam ring and used small amounts of hot glue to secure it in place. I made sure to wrap the rope tightly so that none of the green foam color will show in the end. I also used hot glue only on one side of the ring, which will be the back side. This will allow for a more clean look. Also, since the rope is being wrapped around the foam, it's already pretty secure and there's no need to use a lot of hot glue. I continued this process until I had the whole foam ring covered. I cut a little extra of the jute rope and created a loop on the back side of the foam. I hot glued that loop in place, and this will allow me to actually hang this wreath once it's done. I used some small faux pine cones and acorns to give this wreath some dimension and interest. We've had these from previous years, and I think we bought them from Hobby Lobby at the time. But you can find similar ones at the dollar store or your local craft store. I randomly placed these pieces on the wreath in clusters of 2 and 3 and hot glued them on. I repeated the process throughout the wreath, making sure to leave enough negative space because I wanted to keep this wreath pretty simple. But make sure to customize this to your taste. You can totally cover the majority of your wreath with pine cones and acorns if you want a fuller look. That completed this first dollar store fall decor DIY, and I think this wreath came out really cute. I love the minimalistic look of this piece, and I'm thinking of styling it on my office door. For the second project, I created a textured faux pumpkin out of this really basic and bright orange foam pumpkin that I got from the Dollar Tree. I started by removing the label and the green foam stem from the pumpkin. To create the textured effect on this piece, I used some Mod Podge and toilet paper. I poured the Mod Podge into a plastic cup and used the foam brush to apply it in small sections on the pumpkin. I then tore small pieces of toilet paper and stuck each one onto the pumpkin. I went over the toilet paper with some more Mod Podge to smooth out the edges and to make sure it's adhered to the pumpkin. I repeated this process all around the pumpkin until it was completely covered in toilet paper and Mod Podge mix. I then set the pumpkin aside and waited about an hour for it to dry. This mixture will create that textured look once it's completely dry. After an hour, the Mod Podge and toilet paper had dried in place, so I continued to the next step. I mixed in a really deep burgundy color in a cup using acrylic paint. Next, I used a medium-sized brush to paint the whole pumpkin. I made sure to dab the paint as opposed to paint strokes on the pumpkin to avoid any of that built-up texture from scraping off. I covered the whole piece with this color and let it dry. As always, don't forget to customize the color to your taste and what matches your aesthetics best. While the paint was drying, I went outside in our back patio and found a small stick to use for the stem of this pumpkin. I really did not care for the original green foam stem for this project. Once the pumpkin color was dry, I simply pushed the stick that I had found in the foam in place of the old stem. That finished off this second Dollar Tree fall decor DIY. I think this textured pumpkin came out really nice and it's so much more high-end looking compared to the original one. I only bought one of these pumpkins at the dollar store because I wasn't sure if the Mod Podge and toilet paper mixture would work. But now I want to go back and get a bunch more so I can create this same trendy pumpkin in a variety of colors for fall. In the third project, I created a pine cone candle holder. I used a cylinder-shaped glass vase from the Dollar Tree for this project. I wanted a very minimal and effortless look for this candle holder, and I definitely think sometimes less is more. I used a roll of burlap that I had in my craft stash and wrapped it around the glass vase. Dollar store also has something similar if you don't have any on hand. You can also use a fall themed ribbon for this part, and they have a variety of those at the dollar store too. Anyways, I hot glued one end of this burlap to the top half section of the glass vase and held it in place to make sure it's secure. I then cut the burlap to size and glued the other end on the vase as well. I slightly overlapped the two ends for a more clean look in the end. After that, I placed two pine cones that we've had in our fall decor collection from previous years on the vase and aligned them diagonally on the burlap piece. Once I was happy with their placement, I hot glued them in place. Again, if you don't have any pine cones, you can easily find them at your dollar store in the floral or seasonal section. Finally, I placed the white candle inside the glass vase, and that was it for this third Dollar Tree fall decor DIY. This was super easy and quick to make, and I really love the simple fall aesthetics of this candle holder. For the last project, I created another candle holder, but this one is for holding a tea light, and I used a smaller glass jar similar to a mason jar that I got from the Dollar Tree. For this piece, I used a couple of faux fall leaves and hot glued them on the glass jar in random arrangements. I made sure to leave some negative space in between so the light from the tea light would show through once it's complete. And again, we've had these leaves from before, and I'm trying to repurpose what I have to make cute fall decor. But there are so many fall faux leaves and flowers at the Dollar Tree right now, and you can choose whichever one that fits your design style best. Next, I used some natural raffia and wrapped it around the top portion of the jar to give the piece more interest. You can also use any natural rope or twine as an alternative to raffia, and you can find those at your local dollar store. Lastly, I hot glued 2 small faux acorns over the top because I felt like the piece was looking really flat with just the leaves and the raffia. You can also use small faux pumpkins or pine cones instead, so customize it to your taste. I placed the tea light inside this glass jar, and that concluded this last Dollar Tree fall decor DIY. I think this came out really cute and it was so easy to make. I hope that you enjoyed these fall decor projects and got inspired to create your own pieces. Let me know in the comments below which one of these DIYs was your favorite. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!